We're on the Outlook on Japan. We're now joined by Shihoko Goto, Northeast Asia Program Associate for the Wilson Center here in Washington, D.C. Welcome back to the show. Japan's an interesting economy because either you love it or you hate it, you're really invested in it, or you ignore it completely. These comments by the Bank of Japan, this weakening has come into an end and they're seeing signs of growth. How significant is that?
Well, certainly the love affair that Japan has with Abe, by and large, continues to this day. It has produced results over the last 4 months. It has rallied the stock markets, and most significantly, perhaps, the yen has weakened, and it's really boosted the bottom line for a lot of exporting companies within Japan. So I think the outlook for the short term for the Abe regime looks good, but the question remains, how long will this last?
What about the stimulus? I mean, is that a conversation we still need to have? Do we need to ask the question of, do they need more stimulus, or is it enough at this point, and perhaps everyone should just give some time to the situation?
Well, more is coming. It came for the last fiscal year. It's coming again for this fiscal year. Estimates of $100 billion to support the economy has been praised by some, raised red flags amongst others. It's part of the 3 prongs for the Abe government to prop up the Japanese economy, the other being the Bank of Japan stimulus measures.
You mentioned the red flag. I mean,
yes.
What's the danger in? Is there a danger of too much stimulus?
Absolutely. The question is this just resorting to what Japan has done in the past? What Japan really needs to do is address its fundamental issues, which is its huge debt to GDP ratio, which is second only to Zimbabwe. It is the highest amongst the industrialized countries. There are structural reforms that need to take place. There are issues that simply throwing money at will not lead to it going away.
A simple question: the economy is better.
Mm-hmm.
There's no argument there. Is it because of internal reasons, or is it because the world is getting better?
That's a very interesting question, but I think there is good timing. And certainly the Japanese government has succeeded in riding that wave. And it has actually contributed a little bit to creating that current of...
The world would like to take some credit for all this.
I think so.
Challenges ahead. It's something that we always talk about. There's always a risk of doing too much. You mentioned some of it earlier. Mm-hmm. What could be a surprise in the next 12 months that we could potentially see from either the administration or the central bank?
One of the biggest surprises I've seen over the last 2 weeks is the Japanese government getting serious about tackling structural reform in terms of encouraging more women to go back to the workforce and having affirmative action for women to take on corporate leadership roles. And I think those are very interesting things. Another interesting thing that really needs to be addressed is immigration. And really the biggest issue, though, is tackling spending on the elderly and medical care. These are politically sensitive issues. It's going to be very difficult for any government, whether in Japan or the United States, to address, but I think it needs to be addressed.
We have problems here in America with immigration, which we're going to get to later in the hour, but I want to thank you for your time and your analysis on this. There's a laundry list of concerns. We're going to have you back again, and we're going to go into more detail on that next time. Shihoko Goto from the Wilson Center, thank you very much for joining us on the Biz Asia America.